Hi, I'm Bob Strange, and we're here with the 2001 Mustang. Now, Mustang really needs no introduction. Since busting onto the automotive scene way back in 1964, it has captured the hearts and imaginations of drivers absolutely everywhere. Now, through the years, Mustang has stayed true to its heritage, refining its muscle car image while continuing to appeal to drivers of all ages and walks of life. The information we're going to cover here is linked to testing and certification. So paying close attention now will definitely pay dividends down the road on your exam. Now we're going to break our discussion of Mustang down into three very important areas. First is power, second, control and balance, and lastly, its heritage. Now when you talk about Mustang performance and handling, you almost have to use the word power. I also like the phrase bang for the buck when referring to Mustang as well. The performance that's available from Mustang under this hood comes at a price that I think will really pleasantly surprise you and your customers. Now, there are two engine offerings in Mustang. On the base model, there's the 3.8 liter V6 engine. The GT models come with a 4.6 liter V8, puts out a full 260 horsepower. Now, obviously one would expect outstanding acceleration performance from the V8, and it definitely delivers in the Mustang GT. But what will surprise your customers is the acceleration of the V6, especially when it's made it to the 5-speed manual transmission. Now let's say you have a customer that, as they say, just has to have a V8, but maybe they don't quite have the budget for a GT. Make sure you hand them the keys to a V6, again, especially with a 5-speed manual transmission. I think they will be incredibly surprised at the performance, and it just might fit into their budget and their needs for a performance coupe. The Mustang story was only about power, well, we'd be done. But a big part of the Mustang performance and handling appeal falls under the category of balance and control. And under this category, we're going to be looking at the available all-speed traction control. We're going to look at just the overall ride and handling of Mustang. And I'd also like to look at rear-wheel drive balance. Now, when discussing traction control, we always have to keep in mind that Mustang is rear-wheel drive. And as with any rear-wheel drive vehicle, you're sending power to the rear wheels. Now, traction control is two words, and there are two jobs here. What you're trying to do is you're trying to keep the drive wheels from spinning, keep the tires from spinning on the pavement. A spinning tire has very little traction, and it doesn't have any directional control to speak of. In a rear-wheel drive vehicle, if those tires are spinning, what happens is the rear of the vehicle tends to spin around, and you lose control of that. With traction control, the goal is, by using the brakes and cutting back on engine power, keep those tires from spinning. You'll maintain control of the rear of the vehicle and increase traction. Our second topic is ride and handling. One thing that I have always liked about Mustang is that the engineers have always addressed both issues. Some of the competition seems to be just geared towards the handling side of things. Now, back in 1999, the engineers lengthened the travel on the rear suspension, and what this has allowed them to do is to have a slightly softer spring rate for a better ride quality in Mustang. To address the handling issue, the Mustang engineers use stabilizer bars to be able to control the body lean. So again, you somewhat have your cake and eat it too. You can have a performance vehicle that delivers both good ride and good quality handling. Now, from the standpoint of handling and performance, there's one other issue I want to address that's specifically on the GT. The Mustang has what we call a live rear axle. I'm just going to use this part. This is our rear axle. When you apply a lot of power to a live rear axle, the axle tends to what we call wind up. Now keep in mind that a live rear axle is just about what you see here. Both wheels are connected directly together. A big positive here is that the tire always stays flat on the road surface with a live rear axle, regardless of the body lean. But there is an issue where if you apply a lot of power, as I said, the rear axle tends to wind up like this, and this can cause some vibration issues. What Ford has done is come up with a system called QuadraShock. There are two shock absorbers that control the up and down motion, and two other shock absorbers that are aligned in this direction to control this axle windup. So we can get the positives of the tire contact from the live rear axle, and we've addressed the potential negatives of axle windup with this quadra-shock design. It's really a slick system. Now the last thing I want to address is just rear-wheel drive balance overall. One issue with performance vehicles is traction. Now with rear-wheel drive, what happens when you apply acceleration is that you transfer weight, this is the back of the vehicle, you transfer weight to the back to the drive wheels. So the more weight that's on the drive wheels, the more traction they can generate, and this is a very positive thing. The other positive thing with rear-wheel drive from a performance standpoint is that the front wheels basically just do steering and braking. They don't have to apply acceleration. The rear tires do braking and acceleration. So you're splitting up the work much better between the four tires than you do on most front-wheel drive vehicles. Now, keep in mind what we've just talked about here. Performance is the key, not just power. And one of the things that Mustang delivers is overall ride and handling performance. It doesn't just address the acceleration issue. It looks at all aspects of performance driving. When you talk about Mustang design and styling, make sure to use the word heritage. Now, Mustang has over 35 years of history behind it, and it's history that can still be seen today. Now, in this area, you're going to be looking at four different topics. First, we're going to look at the traditional exterior styling cues. We're also going to take a look at the interior styling. We'll look at the redesigned center floor console, and lastly, the new audio systems available for 2001. Now, Mustang truly is the original, no-nonsense, affordable, fun-to-drive pony car, and it's true to its roots today. It's a driver's car that does not depend on a lot of high-tech gimmicks for driver satisfaction and actually for the passenger as well. Now, there are a number of exterior styling cues that we want to point out that really harken back to its roots back in 1964 and a half. Let's take a look at them. There's the classic pony emblem in the chrome corral on the grille. There's also the long hood design, which really does harken back to the early pony car days. When we get on the side of the vehicle, we've got the traditional C-shaped sculpting along the side, and in addition to that, we have the air scoop. In the back, there's the short deck styling, again, goes along with the long hood styling of those original pony car days. And lastly, when we get to the rear of the vehicle, we have the tri-bar tail lamps. Now, the interior echoes Mustang's heritage as well. The wraparound cockpit design really does reflect the feel of the original, but still keeps pace with the times. For 2001, the center floor console has been redesigned. For example, the front cup holder has been repositioned so that it doesn't interfere with the shifting with the 5-speed manual transmission. The rear cup holder has this removable insert, and you can put really large cups and or mugs in here actually. Plenty of room for either. If you look inside the console storage area, there's room up in the lid to put tissues. There's a holder specifically for them. There's plenty of room in here for CDs and cassettes, and there is a power point down inside here as well. The audio systems have also been changed for 2001. The dual media system, which includes the AM/FM stereo, cassette, and single CD, is now incorporated into one unit instead of two separate units. It's just a much cleaner look in the dash. Also available is a new in-dash 6-disc changer, and this comes with the Mach 460 system. What this allows you to do is to put 6 CDs into the unit in the dash instead of having to have a separate changer located generally someplace in the car, usually in the trunk area. Now keep in mind that audio systems are important to Mustang owners of all ages, so make sure to keep a variety of CDs around the dealership to allow you to better demonstrate these systems. Now, as you can see, Mustang truly does have something for literally everyone. A cool image for the younger buyers, and that nostalgic heritage for the adults that maybe they owned and drove a Mustang as a teenager, or they just wanted to. And it also has that balanced power and performance for the true driving enthusiast. Now, let's keep in mind those 3 key points that we talked about. First of all, we talked about power, then balance and control, and finally we looked at the Mustang heritage. Now, under power, there's a 3.8-liter V6 engine. There's also the 260 horsepower, 4.6 liter single overhead cam V8 engine found in the GT. Under balance and control, we looked at the all-speed traction control. We also talked about just the overall balance, handling, and ride on the Mustang. And lastly, we looked at the rear-wheel drive benefits of separating the steering with the front tires and the traction or acceleration at the rear. Now, under heritage, there's the exterior styling cues that really do harken back to the original Mustang. There's also the interior styling. We took a look at the revised and improved center floor console. And we also looked at the new audio systems available for 2001. Now, if you need more product information, you can always consult the 2001 Ford product website. You can take a look at the Car Print Sourcebook, or you can even look in Frontline magazine. Now, Mustang really does have something for everyone, as we said. Now, it's your job to take this information and put together a product presentation that will meet the needs and the lifestyles of each individual customer.